All right, welcome to the deep dive, everybody. Ready to explore something most people never even think about?
Always ready.
Today, we're diving into the world of clean rooms. Specifically, the different classifications grade A, B, C, and D used in making sterile medicines. It's all about GMP good manufacturing practice and how these classifications ensure your meds are safe. We dug into EU GMP Annex 1 and ISO 14644. Pretty dense stuff.
Oh yeah, tons of technical details in those for sure.
But our mission today is to break it down, figure out why these grades matter so much for, well, all of us, really.
Absolutely, because it's all about safety at the end of the day, isn't it?
Exactly. So let's start at the top. Grade A clean rooms. These are the gold standard, right?
That's right, the most stringent, think aseptic processing, filling vials with injectable medications, that kind of thing.
High stakes. And we saw that grade A is like ISO class 5, EU GMP, grade A, all those. One thing that jumped out at me was this unidirectional laminar airflow, something like 0.45 meters per second, plus or minus 20%.
Yeah, 0.45 meters number to an A, 20%.
Yeah.
It's crucial for keeping those areas super clean. Imagine a constant gentle breeze sweeping away any particles that could contaminate the product.
Okay, so it's like a super clean air current.
Precisely. No turbulence to stir things up, just a continuous flow of filtered air. And, it's not just the air. Grade A clean rooms have strict rules. No sinks or drains. Continuous particle monitoring.
Right, because those could harbor bacteria, I imagine.
Exactly. And the microbiological limits are incredibly low. Only one colony-forming unit, or CFU, allowed per cubic meter of air.
Wow.
And just 3 CFUs per 25 square centimeters on surfaces. We're talking almost zero tolerance for any microbes.
That makes sense, given what's happening in there. And, of course, the gowning.
Oh, yeah, full coverage. Sterilized gowns, gloves, goggles, the works. Like astronauts going on a spacewalk almost.
To prevent any contamination from the people working in there.
Precisely. If you look back at pharmaceutical history, you'll see why these rules are so tight. There are cases where less strict controls led to, well, outbreaks. So grade A is all about learning from those hard lessons and minimizing risk.
It's a reminder that these standards are literally life-saving. So next to these grade A areas, you often have grade B, right? What's the main difference there?
You got it. Think of grade B as the supporting actor to grade A's leading role. It's still used for aseptic prep and filling, just not the most critical steps.
Then it's still ISO class 5 when at rest, right?
Right, and it goes up to ISO class 7 in operation.
Yeah.
Still incredibly clean, but those limits are a bit less strict than grade A.
But the airflow, the velocity, that's all the same as grade A.
Yes. It's maintained to ensure that any potential contaminants are swept away from the grade A areas, keeping that buffer zone super clean.
Makes sense. So even though it's a step down, it's still pretty darn strict.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that goes for the gowning and material handling, too. Same procedures as grade A, just a touch more lenient on the microbiological counts.
Gotcha. Now, moving down the line, we have grade C.
Right, grade C. This is where things start to relax a little bit.
Yeah, because this is for less critical stages in the manufacturing, right?
Exactly. We're talking ISO class 7 at rest, ISO class 8 in operation, or what some might know as FS class 10,000. The air, while still filtered, can have a little more turbulence, except right at the critical points.
So less stringent than A or B, but still pretty darn clean compared to, our everyday lives.
Oh, absolutely. Monitoring happens every 15 days here, not continuously, and those microbial limits are higher than A and B.
So what kind of activities are we looking at in grade C?
Think of the early steps in component prep, things that don't directly touch the final product yet. And the gowning requirements change too.
Yeah.
You're still wearing low particulate garments, but they don't necessarily have to be sterilized.
Interesting. So it's all about matching the level of control to the risk involved in each step.
Exactly. And finally, we reach grade D, the most relaxed of the bunch.
Grade D, that's ISO class 8 both at rest and in operation, or FS class 100,000, right?
You got it. Airflow is not as big of a concern here. No specific velocity requirements. Grade D is all about good basic hygiene.
And the monitoring.
Still, every 15 days, with the highest allowable microbial limits out of all the grades. Basic PPE is the norm here.
Okay, so think like initial component washing before they even get to the cleaner areas.
That's got it. Something like that, yeah. It's a step down in control, reflecting the lower risk to the product at this stage. But still important.
Absolutely. So when we look at the big picture, we see this clear gradient of control, right?
Absolutely.
Grade A for the most critical stuff, grade B as its close partner, grade C for less critical steps, and grade D for the basics. all governed by those guidelines we mentioned earlier, EU GMP Annex 1 and ISO 14644.
And those guidelines, they're all focused on one crucial thing: making sure patients get safe and effective medicines.
It's amazing, isn't it? This whole system working behind the scenes, ensuring the quality and safety of the medicines we depend on.
It really is.
And it makes you think what other invisible processes are out there working to keep us safe and healthy that we rarely consider.
That's a question worth pondering.
Definitely food for thought. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of clean room classifications.
My pleasure. Always happy to shed some light on this hidden world.
Until next time.
See you then.